Hi folks, welcome to the Economic Reality Channel. My name is Kurt. This is video number 1. So welcome. I wanted to create this channel to try and document some of the upcoming changes that I will be encountering. Some of that involves job loss, unemployed, underemployed, living in a very rural south and west area of North Carolina where there really just are not any good paying jobs. And when I moved here, I worked remote and I had really good income in an industry that was doing well at the time. It's not now. So this is my home. This is my cabin. I've lived here for 5 years. I've remodeled the whole place, and I will own it for the next 14 hours. Tomorrow I close and it will be someone else's. So it's a pretty documented experience for me that I have put a lot of sweat equity into this place, and I really kind of saw it as being the final place that I would live. But life has consequences and challenges, and I think a lot of people are going through them right now. I'm a perfect example. And so I thought I would share some of that experience with other people so that maybe they can get maybe a little understanding of how to adjust, how are other people adjusting to this, what I call affordability crisis. Because let's face it, the cost of stuff has just gone through the roof. We've had poor leadership that has driven our financial system into, well, right up to the cliff. And I think that we're on the precipice of some real serious black swan type events. And I'll get into that maybe later. I want to keep this video short since it's my first one. How many of those, 200,000 sub YouTube creators started out with that first one and thought, how stupid is this? Is anybody even going to watch? So I'll keep it short, but basically I'm going to take the path less traveled. I am going to cash out. I'm pushing my chips in. I'm going up to the cashier and saying, cash me out. And I'm finding the nearest exit. I'm getting out. And I'm going to pay off all my debt. And I'm going to have a little bit of money in the bank. And for those that know me, I've always been a metal guy, precious metals. So there's some of that I need to repatriate back into my physical supply. Some people have helped me maintain over the years, and it's time to get some of that back. So other than that, I will be doing a lot of traveling in a different way. I will be documenting some of the places that I go, what are the economic circumstances in these places that I go. There's a lot of places that I want to see. I've been very fortunate. I've seen a lot of things, more things than the average person could ever probably witness. Over the years, I've traveled the world, been very fortunate. But, you know, I know that if I can be impacted after 20 years of understanding mortgage finance from every level imaginable, and here I am selling my home and cashing in. But it's gonna lead to some new opportunities, and that's what is hopefully going to be exciting. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I want to document those. And for those who are wondering what other lifestyles are there, you know, I mean, I could go back to the big city, get the, you know, job at the corporate office and show up Monday through Friday and do the rat race and you know, have that $2,300 a month, you know, condo payment, rental payment, whatever. It's just gone absurd. And I think there's other ways that we can approach this, and I'm going to explore those ways and share them with this channel. So why do you want to watch this crazy guy that lives in western, southern North Carolina in the middle of nowhere where there's no employment? Well, I have a history of knowledge that I've been accustomed to. I've read too many books. I've probably watched too many documentaries and maybe watched one or two too many Alex Jones videos. But when I moved here the day was March 9th, 2020. And that was a Wednesday. And I moved here to this place, which was awful, sight unseen, rented it from big city, Florida, just to get out because the calling that I had was come after my people. It was time for me to get out. So I did. And I moved here. And had a good job and worked remote and everything was fine. And, you know, the crazy COVID thing happened. And literally, I moved here on a Wednesday and on Saturday, everything locked down. So it was a new way of life. And I had to adjust. And it was very different than, you know, the just the pace of things. And everything was so different from what I was used to growing up. But it was a good change because these are good people. And I surrounded myself with excellent people. People that would do anything for you at any time. Trying to hold it together because this is my last night here. So, I love it here. I love it here. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. But things change, and we have to adapt. And you have to quote the great Pastor Joe Fox, you got to do the best with what you got where you are. So I'm cashing out. I'm going debt free. And I'm going to explore a new lifestyle. I'm not going back to the rat race. I'm not going to, get caught up in that environment where, you just work until it's over, your number's called. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the other path. And that's what this channel is going to be about. It's going to be a little different, little exploration, but a lot of knowledge from an economic standpoint, because right now a lot of people aren't doing good. And maybe it hasn't hit you yet. I call it the affordability crisis, but some people are in recession, depression. It really is dependent on the person. But I can tell you that if you put gas in that vehicle, you have car insurance, and you eat food, you're feeling it. It's getting more and more expensive to live. Housing is out of control. These are the things that I focus on. And I'll talk about as this channel grows, hopefully. Maybe I'll have 10 people and it goes away. I don't know. But there's a lot of economic indicators, red flags. Think about, the red light just flashing. There's tons of them, and they're all around us. And I saw them in 2008 and 2007 and 2006 when I was in mortgage. I tried to look the other way because the money was great and we were all having a great party, So I tried to ignore those indicators back in that point in time. And today, they're flashing much bigger, much greater. It's all around us. I know a lot of people don't want to hear bad news, they'd rather just go about their day and, pretend the world's going to be okay. So I don't want to be, the pessimist. I don't consider myself a pessimist. I'm a realist. I'm a economic realist. I understand that there's signs that tell us that hard times are coming. We hear it every day, mostly on alternative media, but mainstream media tries to paint the picture that everything is fine and dandy. And where am I at on this? Oh my goodness, I've already overrun. So let me get to the point. There's a lot of indicators. We're at all-time highs. Stock market, equities, debt. We're about to surpass $38 trillion. That's not considering unfunded liabilities. 105 trillion. Gold and silver, my best friend. Those are that's the barometer for what's going on in the world. And it's hitting all-time highs every day. You know, student loan debt, foreclosures, repossessions, credit card debt, housing, everything is at all-time highs, and they're all flashing. Problem. So that's why part of why I've made the decision to get out, because I think housing hit probably its all-time high back in, as a country, spring of this year. Rates can only come down so much because inflation is just killing us. I put this place up for sale, and I had 3 showings, and it sold in 4 days. 4 days. I had an offer. And it's not because it's so awesome. It is awesome. But it's because I strategically located to this place 5 years ago. And rural development is still in demand. And when you find a great location in a rural environment with great people, small town, it doesn't last. So my situation is different. But overall, I think the country as a whole has hit a high point, a high watermark in the housing industry. And rates aren't coming down. The Mortgage Banking Association, the head of it, just came out and said he doesn't see, mortgage rates changing for the next 4 or 5 years. We're not going to have those 2 and 3 and 4% interest rates. That refinance business is not coming back. And so there's not going to be another boom in housing, because who can afford it already, right? I mean, the average person, has to make $100,000 to afford a simple 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And it's just not as easy to own a home as it was before. So I make these decisions, very respectfully to sell. But I say that to say this: I think there's got to be a housing correction. In other words, price has to come down. The average person cannot afford a $500,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And, these are the averages. It may not be where you are, but across the board. So housing fits into the affordability crisis, in my opinion. And that's 20 years of just paying attention, working in mortgage, lending, originating. And prior to that, paying attention to what's going on in the world with, monetary policy, GDP, debt, geopolitical events. All of it plays in. So all these indicators. And I'll end with this, just to make it simple. Imagine you and I are sitting on the beach. We're working on our suntan. We're enjoying a pina colada. You're over there, I'm over here. Hey. And all of a sudden, the ocean goes out about 100, 200 yards. There's no waves. The ocean just moved 200 yards offshore. Now all this beach is there. And you got people who think, wow, this is really cool. And they run out into the place where there was waves crashing, and they're taking selfies. And meanwhile, I'm sprinting for that 12-story hotel, looking for the fire exit and get to the highest point in that building I can, because I know what's about to come. So my question is, are you the person taking selfies on the beach when you have no idea what the warning signs were? Are you paying attention, and are you sprinting to that high point with me? So that's where I am, and I don't mean to insult anybody. Those people who are taking selfies probably need to be here, because you're going to learn a lot. Those people who were ahead of me or behind me, you're the people that will understand this content. And so, you know, as someone who's trying to explore some new ideas, share some good experiences, I'll be sitting on a creek bed fishing one day while maybe you're at work and you think that's a really cool way to live, or maybe I'm having a bad experience and I can relate that to you and say, man, here's what you don't want to do. Either way, I hope that this channel can provide some content that may help you, may inspire you, may educate you a little bit, may help you through some of those tough times. Because let me tell you, they're coming. They're around the corner. These events happen, and this one happened shortly after I moved here. And I'm no philosopher. I'm just a dude. But I can tell you that I'm cashing in right before that next crazy event happens. And I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But I know they're all tied together. And when that black swan event happens, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. When that black swan event happens, and it sets the ripples in motion, things are going to get interesting. So that's it for now. I think I way overextended on my first video. I'm sorry. I'm glad for those of you who stuck around and listened to the whole thing. Please like, share, subscribe. You know, I'd love to grow the channel into something, you know, that could maybe reach a couple people. But, you know, I'll need your support. So leave some comments in the comment box below. I'll respond because I got a lot of time on my hands. And so it's going to be a lot of new. And that's my final resting place here in this great cabin that I help make awesome. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll see you on the next video.